this is a time for people who love our country, love our representative democracy, respect our Constitution, to take a breath, realize we've been through worse than this before, and we will get through this again. But when we get power back, it's time to hold everyone accountable. The military leadership, the civilian leadership, the civil service, those in Congress who've abused their power, all of them have to be held accountable. All of them. It can't be this nice guy routine where we're just, oh, let's be friends.
So there's a couple of things I love about this. One, the idea that up until this point, the right has been the nice guy. It's interesting. I must have dozed off there for a bit and missed something. The other is everyone calm down. We've been through worse. We'll get through this. I heard her say that and I thought, wow, this is the most calm and rational and lucid Laura Ingraham's been for some time. But she immediately transitioned to, and there was no cut. It was from one to the next. And then when we get in power, we're clearing out the generals, we're clearing out the DOJ, the FBI, the civilian leadership, and members of Congress. We're coming for you, we're coming for all of you. The calm only lasted a couple of seconds, David.
Well, I wonder, I mean, who's Laura Ingraham talking about? Who is gonna hold these people to account? Is it a Republican administration? Eventually really would have a palace coup underway by Republicans? Or is she speaking more broad terms so that when Donald Trump, if he does get indicted, she can say, oh, I wasn't saying to get rid of everybody. I was promoting accountability for everybody. And of course, a president should be accountable, and his chief of staff and his lawyers and the people who are in charge of these militia groups, everybody should be held accountable. I was telling everybody to calm down. I mean, it's almost sort of ingenious the way Laura Ingraham is trying to sort of have it both ways, both to sort of wait and see where this goes, because she knows how the Department of Justice operates and what this all means. And at the same time, she's trying to fire up her audience and make her audience think that she is on their side and is just as outraged as Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, and it also, it's also consistent with what has been leaked recently about what Trump plans to do in his second term, which is just clear out anyone who's disloyal. That's Laura Ingraham's a fan of that. She wants everyone to be ready. I don't think her base would ever have a problem with Trump firing whoever he wants, but in theory, were he to get elected, and then it turns out he fires 30% of the bureaucracy specifically to purge anyone who might leak something. I don't know, some people might be bothered by that. So they're doing a little bit of work ahead of time to get people used to the idea that that might happen. The fact that we need to do something of the military leadership quote is coming out like one day after one of these books asserted that Trump told, I think it was Milley, like, why can't the generals be loyal like the German ones? And when Milley was like, which? He was like, the ones under Hitler. Okay, maybe back off of the let's purge the military thing when we're talking about his recent coup attempt.
Well, and it's not, look, for everyone who thinks, okay, we can just go ahead and get rid of all the generals or 30% of the bureaucracy, it's actually not that easy to do. Yes, there are a certain number of political appointments that you get to make, but in terms of the establishment bureaucracy, then you have to go through Congress in terms of cutting their funds and reshaping what these agencies do. You as an administration cannot simply say, get rid of every senior management level at the Department of Education. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it sounds great, I suppose, if you're on the right and you're a lunatic, but in practice, it can't happen that way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I just want to just briefly, like, he gets raided and immediately, every opportunistic contrarian or whatever is like, well, this is, you guys said you didn't like when they would chant lock them up. It's the same thing. And look, I would argue, are some of the people who are super thrilled about this on social media basically the same, that they just want to see people they disagree with locked up? I think there are certainly people like that on social media. Social media is a hellscape. That said, believing that everyone you disagree with should be locked up for reasons is not the same as, I think that even politicians, even the rich and powerful, should be investigated if there's good evidence that they committed crimes, some of which were committed totally in plain view. I don't think that that's the exact same thing. And I don't think that you get to spend years calling for all of your opponents to be locked up, and then when an investigation happens, imply that that is the apocalypse. That's the end of all things. That is what you've been calling for. The disagreement is over what the threshold of evidence should be. I don't think we should willy-nilly be locking up politicians. But sometimes they commit crimes, sometimes they're corrupt, sometimes they accept bribes, sometimes they do bad things. And the idea that simply because they're popular or wealthy or because they might run again, they should be free of any consequences. Maybe that is kind of how America has run up until this point, but I don't think that's a good thing, and I think it should be changed.
Yeah, no, there should be equal justice for everybody. And the fact of the matter is, I would agree with certain people on the right who say we should investigate everybody. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, I fall short of saying lock them up, but let's go ahead and expand the investigations into cabinet secretaries, into members of Congress, members of the Senate, and let's look at the corruption that causes them to take money from fossil fuels and then vote a certain way. Let's put all of that out there and let's have deep investigations into everybody and determine what's criminal and what's not. I'm fine with that, but I think the problem is when people on the right say, well, let's forget about the investigation, let's just throw people in jail.
Exactly, which many of them would be perfectly happy to do.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.